I'm just kind of hearing both of you out and trying to formulate questions that I would ask. But I think based on what I heard you guys say about being born around 92, I was born in 88, but I guess my view of the world has like since shifted. But I was a registered Democrat, and I can't stand the Democratic Party now. So,
ooh, what do you not like about it? I mean, I don't particularly like it. I have my own reasons. What are yours?
So my whole thing with the Democratic Party is that I don't know, I have really complex view of the world, but I just feel like the Democratic Party manipulates ill-informed people based on various, I call it race, I don't know what you want to call it demographics, but based on, various attributes, and they make people feel like they're the victim of a system that they basically have created to get them to vote and put them into power. And I feel like power has just consolidated to the point where there's this super deep state of people who rule the world, and they don't care about us equally. Like, they don't care about any side of the line, and they say that they do, but I really just don't believe that they do. And for them, it's just all about power. And so I think it's true of both sides. I don't like the Republican Party that much more either, but I feel like the Democratic Party is especially evil because they really just manipulate people's emotions to get them to vote for, change and prosperity. But if you look at the history of the Black vote, that's kind of when I abandoned the Democratic Party, because it just feels very obvious that they've been using African Americans for their votes, but they've essentially left them repressed for their entire Democratic history of their party voting as Democrats.
Okay, that's interesting. I've done whole videos on systematic racism. I mean, it's obviously a position that I subscribe to. I do agree with you that the Democrats totally take for granted the Black vote. But I would also argue that the Democratic Party is better than, I mean, we're not arguing now, but my opinion is the Democratic Party is better for the Black community than policy-wise than the Republican Party. Yes.
Well, see, I would argue that because Trump is the first president of all time to achieve the lowest unemployment rate for African Americans.
Yeah, and
he's donated to Black colleges. Like, I don't feel like he's not working his ass off for Black America.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know the talking points from the right. Like I said, this isn't a debate. This is just asking questions. But I will be happy. I would love to be able to talk to you about this on a later time. Tomorrow, next day, whenever. If you want to just keep me in the Discord or on the Reddit, just let me know when you're free, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
Well, so why do you think the Democratic Party has their interest more in mind?
I think that the policies that the Democrats claim to subscribe to are better for the Black community. The Black community, welfare helps the Black community a lot more than, disproportionately helps the Black community. They tend to be disproportionately poor when compared to the white community. Not cutting that is beneficial to the Black community. They at least recognize systematic racism. I'm not saying that they have the answers for it, nor are they willing to really go with the answers for systematic racism. I don't even really know what the answers are, but yeah, I think that they at least recognize systematic racism that happens in America today, and they at least recognize that the explicit racism that happened in the past is still affecting the Black community today. So those are just a few things. We can also go through the Republican Party, how voter ID laws disproportionately affect the Black community. I know the talking point, well, why can't Black people get IDs? That's not really the point. They are disproportionately poor. Poor people do have harder times getting IDs, but also they are the population that has the least amount of IDs, that don't have ID. Like, more of them have are without IDs now. So even if you have like two populations of people, one population has 50% that don't have IDs and the other one has 20% that don't have IDs, and then 10% of each of those populations go and get IDs when the voter ID laws come into place, you're still disenfranchising more of the population that has a higher rate of people without IDs. So stuff like that. Usually when Republicans gerrymander, and I don't have any like specific examples except for in South Carolina where they pretty much admitted, I think it was South Carolina, that the gerrymandering was race-based. It's usually to disenfranchise black people, which makes sense for the Republican Party because black people tend to overwhelmingly vote for Democrats. Yeah, it's just things like that.
Hello there.
Hi.
So I was, what do you mean by systematic racism? Are you referring to the cops, or what are you referring to?
There is multiple facets of systematic racism. There is, yes, police brutality tends to disproportionately negatively affect black people, and that's not just deaths. That's also just being roughed up, being generally harassed. But also economic disenfranchisement. There has been studies that show that if you send in a application to employers with the exact same credentials, just one's got a black sounding name and one's got a white sounding name, the white sounding name is going to get more callbacks than the black sounding name. There was another study that tried to disprove that, but they used last names, so it'll be something like Ryan Washington instead of like Jamal, which like that's an obviously flaw in that methodology that tried to disprove that. Implicit biases affect things like jurors. Jurors have been proven to be more likely to sentence a black person for the same crimes as a white person with similar evidence, and also harsher sentences. The drug war is an ongoing thing on the federal level that's slowly dying on the state level, but the drug war was explicitly to target black people and anti-war left. That was a thing that the Nixon administration's advisor right out said in leaked audio. So, and then you got things like redlining, which disallowed black people from getting good homes, which is like the number one generator of wealth. So now black communities are without wealth because of stuff that's happened in the past. Those are just some examples.
Well, I do disagree, but this isn't a debate, obviously, so let's not get into that.
Yeah, like I said, anything that you hear me say today, you want to debate about some other day, I am happy to have you back on.
So are there any Republicans that you like, or is it straight down the line down for you?
Unfortunately, there is I don't know where, there is a Republican who is trying to invest. He's a governor, I believe. I don't know what his name is, but he's trying to invest in green energy. He's getting rid of, he's trying to put green energy on the same market level as fossil fuel energies, so that they can properly compete in the free market. And I don't know. I like him on green energy at the very least. I don't know what his name was. I think he was like the governor of Maryland for a little bit, or.
Oh yeah, that must have been Larry Hogan.
Possibly. I don't remember. It was a long time ago when I saw stuff about him.
Oh, so what's it called? What's your opinion on climate change?
I think it's real. I think it's an existential threat to the human race, and I think that we need to do something about it.
I agree with that. Do you think we need to get rid of all fossil fuels, or just some?
I think that anybody that says that we're going to get rid of all fossil fuels is delusional, because we can't run things like airplanes and like rocket ships and shit on fossil fuels. But we definitely need to make a push through to renewable green energies as much as we possibly can. I would actually... Go ahead.
Sorry? Oh, beg my pardon. What were you saying?
No, you go ahead. I didn't really have much more to add.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I personally think that the future is between solar, nuclear, wind energy, as well as fossil fuels. I think that if we, heck, let's say if North America got rid of all fossil fuels, places like India and China will still pollute, and in my opinion, global warming will still be a threat. Now, I think that we should push companies similar to how Trump pushed for ventilators. We should push them to pursue green energy sources to make their product. We could do that through tax credits, something along those lines. We could possibly.
What about getting rid of subsidies for fossil fuels? I mean, you're a big libertarian guy. You shouldn't like the government meddling in the market in that way, anyways, just out of principle.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.